All right. We're here, right here, and we are back. We want you to know that this has been an incredible start, and we're so happy that you decided to stick with us. And we want you to know that you can come and go. We're going to be live streaming this throughout the whole weekend, and we want you to get as much value as we can possibly bring you. You know, we're very grateful that we're here at the Chiropractic Conference in Palm Desert, and we want to give a big shout out to them for the support, because this is an event that has got hundreds of chiropractors getting their continuing education. And it's funny because they've been watching, they've been all around here. You're probably hearing the noise. We want you to know that we wanted to make this as live as possible, but we're very glad for those of you that are watching online, because I know that this weekend is going to be very transformational for many of you that are going to learn about the value of chiropractic like you probably never heard of before.
Absolutely, Fab. You know, the Friday night fun is now, and what better way than to bring your family, your friends, your staff, whoever you want to listen to these last few segments, because I think it's going to change your life. I think it's going to make your life that much better, because the more we know, the better we do. And that's why if you're streaming virtually right now, you can make sure to look at the vignettes that are coming up this weekend. Maybe rewatch some of them. There's a lot of information coming at us, and it's coming at us fast. But don't forget, we also would love you to donate. As you heard in the last segment, we are picking up the pace, and our whole donation process is to go to bigger, better, bolder, and braver to make our community stronger and healthier. The entire globe needs to know the information with the guests that we have. So f4cp.org/ChiroThon is where you want to be. So send your friends and family a text right now. Hey, I'm looking at this ChiroThon. It's a lot of fun. Dr. Fab and Sherry are actually enjoying being with you on a Friday night, and thank you.
And also remember that ChiroThon is really the place where we bring in not only chiropractors, assistants, spouses, children, patients, the community, the consumers out there. We're bringing them all to do one common thing, and that is to support financially the advancement of this amazing profession we call chiropractic. Imagine if all of a sudden there would be no chiropractic. What would you do? I know that for 38 years I've been getting adjusted at least once or twice a week, nonstop, every single year, and my body feels better today than it's felt when I started many years ago. Now, these events will not be possible without the support of our sponsors, and we want to acknowledge another giant in the chiropractic profession, NCMIC. NCMIC was founded in 1946 by chiropractors that were not satisfied with the insurance options that they were receiving. We've never strayed far from that spirit, always striving to do the right thing for our community in chiropractic, for our customers, for our employees, and also for our patients. Whether the malpractice insurance, business insurance, credit card processing, equipment loans, or financial or insurance products, NCMIC provides customers with a thoughtful solution that they need in order to grow their business. In order to learn more about NCMIC, go to ncmic.com.
I cannot imagine the profession being where it is today without NCMIC existing. They have been a backbone and a rock to our profession.
They have incredible resources and opportunities available for students and DCs alike.
When chiropractors find themselves in trouble, NCMIC is there right behind them to support them and be the best they can be.
Today's guest couldn't be with us live, but don't despair. We're super excited to have them virtually. We have Dr. Mitch Malley, a doctor of chiropractic and a graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, specializing in the treatment of athletes for many professional sports teams. He is also a member of the Council of Sports Injuries, the Council of Athletics and Physical Fitness, Parker Chiropractic Research Foundation, Pro Sport, oh, so much more. So you're going to learn a lot about him. And we also have with him today Keyvan. Rudd. Now, you'll know Keyvan if you go to our Instagram. You'll learn more about him, but he is a professional athlete, 7 years of experience in arena football. All the highest levels, he is quite an athlete. He's specializing with his interpersonal skills, and he has a passion to create opportunities with his unique skill set. Now, throughout his career, he has played over 80 games without missing one. Okay, I'm saying that true. 80 games without missing one due to the nature of what he does to take care of his body. Now, if you're an athlete, you're thinking, I want a piece of that. Yes, you do. And you're going to want to listen to his skill sets. We want to be able to share the wisdom. How do you not miss one single game? Just like Fab, who's getting adjusted every 2 times a week, is fantastic. So as an arena football player, that is one of the biggest challenges. You know, it's not easy to play football. His 85 career touchdowns and the franchise leader in every wide receiver statistical category for the QC Steamwheelers. Yes, that's right, the Quad City Steamwheelers.
Well, one of the things that I love is the fact that Chiropractic has supported some of the greatest athletes in the world. So you don't want to miss this. And we have one of the great giants in chiropractic, Dr. Mitch with this incredible athlete. So pay attention, and we want to thank you. Thank you for being here today. And I also have some great news. We actually have already raised $10,180. Every dollar is being matched 3 times today because of our amazing donors that are giving us. But look, it's never too late. Go right now to f4cp.org/ChiroThon and make your donation right now. Just do it right now, because you know that excitement is what makes all of this work. It's the fact that you're investing in your health and the health of your community, your family, and the world as a whole.
Well, I want to first thank our guests today, Dr. Mitch Malley and Keyvan Rudd. We're so excited to have both of you. Dr. Malley, I want to start with you. I want you to tell our audience a little bit about how you started treating athletes such as our good friend Keyvan, and what did you do to really showcase and optimize their performance?
That's a great question. Thank you, Sherry. And it's a pleasure to be here. I would say that being an injured athlete myself, and I was going to go to med school and become an orthopedic surgeon with a fellowship in sports medicine, since I've had many injuries, I've become quite familiar with the treatments that were afforded at that time, but unfamiliar with this chiropractic profession and what it could do for sports injuries. So having seen a chiropractor locally back in Detroit, I had an opportunity to play pro football or pro baseball as a career, and or to go to become a physician in orthopedic sports medicine. My injury took me to a chiropractor, to a devastating knee injury, career-ending injury, and I could have gone back to it after chiropractic care, but I chose this profession to do a greater job helping other people that were unfamiliar, just like myself, that chiropractic can and does help sports injuries.
You know, it's really important for me to reflect on when a doctor walks in the same path as some of the high-performing athletes. They get not only the physical injuries and the devastation and the mental hit, but also that they can kind of empathize or sympathize with that frustration of getting the body back. And so I'm very grateful, unfortunately, that you did get hurt, but I also know that the treatment of an athlete is so much better when the experience of the doctor is broader and more able to really understand how performance is impacted when an injury happens, and then how to get back into that game that you so very much love. So congratulations. I did not know, Dr. Malley, that you were also a very high-level athlete, and it's always great to learn more about the famous people in our profession. What was one of the exciting moments, Dr. Malley, that you had as a chiropractor?
Well, you know, treating a lot of athletes, very famous, high-level elite athletes that fly in and out, and I fly out too, is always very, very exciting. But you know, the blue-collar worker The people that are our everyday salt of the earth never make it to that level of fame that you love to see these people at that level. But the blue collar worker having an opportunity to share with them many of the complaints and conditions, let's face it, about 242 million people in the US are playing sports. Out of those, 6+ years of older, you're talking a lot of potential injuries. In fact, National Institute of Health quoted that there was approximately $800 billion spent per year on pain and pain suffering. And a lot of the public doesn't realize 50% of that number, $400 billion, was all extremity complaints and injuries. So that said, that's an area of my specialty that I chose to develop and dedicate my career to, was injuries like those that I've seen and many that I treat currently.
It's so nice that you did go into this very special place. And many of our listeners today really don't know. A lot of them think we're chiropractors are really focused just on the spine. So having a world-renowned extremity specialist chiropractor on today is really exciting, because extremities are shoulders, ankles, knees, elbows, all of these pieces that we think about that get injured, especially when you see football players and you see what their bodies go through and the intensity. So tell me, Dr. Malley, when you treat extremities, and for the consumers that are listening that really had no idea that this was something that chiropractors do, what would you share with them when they start thinking about potentially the elbow or ankle kind of injuries? What would you want them to know now that you're opening their world up?
Another very fair question to ask is the public is unaware that chiropractors do treat outside the spine, but some of them stay only in an expertise in the level of the spine and don't go beyond that. So just the way a medical doctor might be a general practitioner, another medical doctor might be an ear, nose, and throat doctor, chiropractors can choose specialization and take advanced training and skills in those, much like you're familiar with the courses that I do teach, is to help train doctors beyond the schooling and academics they get in school to graduate in a chiropractic college. They can take additional courses of study and become certified on peripheral joints. Those would include the extremities, such as shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, foot, knee, hip, and even the TMJ, the jaw, one of those additional peripheral joints.
It's very shocking to many, especially if they grind their teeth at night, that there is chiropractic that actually takes care of the jaw. So you really nailed it. If you got to pick one joint, only one joint to treat, an extremity, which one would it be?
I will always start with the foot and ankle because that is the foundation of which every structure is built, with a solid foundation. If the foundation is not aligned perfectly, everything on top of it will become affected. Cracks in the walls, windows and doors that squeak and don't open and close right, cracks on the walls, the plaster is cracking. Somebody will come in and say you've had a shift in the foundation.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you. For those of you that are not in the chiropractic profession and you're listening right now, Dr. Mitch Malley has gone all over the world, and I love that he brought up the foundation, because that is exactly what chiropractors do, is look at the foundation. And so such a pleasure to have you with us and explain the extremities. And we know from a foundational level, it turns right into our next guest, which I am so delighted to have. I want to bring in Keyvan Rudd, and I know, Keyvan, that football is your dream. And I was reading at Christmas, the Quad City Times did a lovely article on you, and it just made my heart sing, because you're not only, a really talented athlete, but you're also such an amazing giver of your time and talent. So first and foremost, I want to thank you for joining us today, because it really takes a lot out of someone's day to come and join us. Can you give our audience that is listening a little bit of an overview on your own athletic career and some of the major milestones that you achieved that you're very proud of?
Sherry, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be able to share my story. So, I'll just hop right into it. I think first and foremost, being blessed to be able to play this sport and continue at a high level was probably the beginning moments of knowing that this was going to be a special journey for me. And then on top of that, earning a dual scholarship to Minnesota State University Mankato. It originally started out with a football scholarship, and in the springtime, I was a high jumper. So, I heard from the track coach, "Hey, I heard you're coming here to play football. Do you want to think about doing track?" And then I got offered a scholarship. So even though my goals and dreams and aspirations of being a D1 athlete, being in the video game, being on TV in front of 70, 80,000 people didn't happen, I took great advantage of the opportunity I had at Minnesota State Mankato. Upon continuing my career there, I had an option. I either could continue track, which was to officially make a U.S. Olympic roster, or I could chase my dreams of playing in the NFL. It was kind of a hard choice, but at the end of the day, my heart told me to continue chasing football, and that's what I did, and it's helped me get to the level where I'm at now.
I love it. It's really chasing our dreams, and it's exactly where Dr. Malley just came from. He really had to think about, do I go back or do I change the world and chase my dream? I'm helping people on such a global scale. It's refreshing to see that. And I know that your athletic career really evolved over time. And I also saw you had that opportunity with Nike. So you had to make some evolved journey challenges. Tell us about that.
So anybody could tell you about me in high school, nothing but Nike touched my body. I was insanely passionate about Nike. My favorite college team, the Oregon Ducks, that's like Nike headquarter, Nike University, however you want to put it. So I knew that I always wanted to do that. And I was working for Finish Line for about 7 years from my senior year of high school all the way up until that 7 year mark. And once I finally got that opportunity, it was in Seattle. So I was like, all right, cool. Nail my opportunity. I finally worked hard, climbed the level that I need to climb at Finish Line to open the doors with Nike. Not 2 weeks later, after I got this opportunity, my first true professional opportunity came about. So I had to get this job, tell my family, get excited, only to tell them a couple weeks later I will be home to be playing in front of my hometown. So it was, again, a choice that I had to make that was like, okay, I really have to decide. But again, my heart told me, you got to do this football thing. There's a way bigger picture that's going to be provided to either your fans, supporters, or anybody that you're going to connect with in your journey that is finally starting to blossom at this point in my life. So I was able to still make the right connections, still work hard, and bust my tail at Nike to the point where if a job opportunity along the lines comes about, maybe in that area, I was always welcome back with open arms. So I made the most of that to make sure if I got hurt, if football was ended for me weeks after that, life after football, my journey had already started there too.
Well, it clearly you got hardcore press to have these decisions that you have to make, and you really don't have a lot of time to make them. I mean, when we go into high school, we dream about what university, but we got 4 years to make them, and here you are. I'm at my peak. It's like you're now pressured to say, how badly do you want this? And you jump into it full force. And I think those are our pivotal moments in life where we start to really think about what's important and why do I want it. So often we lose the why. Why, Dr. Mitch Malley, right? It's why do I want to be a chiropractor? Why do I want to be a football player? And then you dive in and it's almost like it reconfirms, you made the right choice. This is a really, really good thing. As a young athlete, you were exceptional. So you definitely have some gifts, but they didn't come easy. Everybody has to work at being the best they can be. Tell us, as a young athlete, how did you look at your health? Or did you feel kind of in your youth, like most of us do, I'm invincible, nothing's going to rock this foundation?
It's funny you say that because I was just getting ready to say that. I still think at my age now I'm invincible. But I got this guy next to me to keep me in line. But even as a young athlete, I took good care of myself. Didn't smoke, didn't drink, didn't do those things that would accelerate the fact of your body deteriorating. But I did the normal work hard, lift weights, try to eat right, play, stay hydrated, all those basic things. But as I got older and I started to develop, and before I got to that point, I came across sciatic nerve issues and I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know where it came from. I don't know why it happened to me. But it hit me pretty hard about my junior year of high school. I couldn't sneeze, laugh, cough, could barely walk without it being pain. And, I didn't know where it was coming from, thought it was my hamstring, thought it was my back, who knows? But it was something that came to me like, okay, now we really got to start paying attention to your body, especially when you get into the college and eventually the professional level. So listening to your body was, first and foremost, and then finding the right outlet to help you take care of your body outside of the norms that you already have. And that's why I'm so thankful that my mom somehow got connected with Mitch Malley, and we've had a great relationship going on 15 years plus. I think the correct number is 17 years, but I think it's 15 years plus that he's been helping keep my body in tune. And a lot of the things that he said, it's more than just cracking the neck and the back is what some people may think it is. The way that he's able to do the extremities. I was going to steal his house story because now I use it when I'm talking to people. The foundation, like you have to take care of that. The house could look so pretty inside with furniture and lights and decorations, but if the doors, windows, the floors, all that stuff is not right, it's not going to be any good. So finding someone that knows how to do the extremities, finding someone that can really keep your body in tune is going to be the most important piece of your journey. Because if you're not on the field, you're not playing. If you're not anywhere on whatever playing surface that you have due to injuries, you're not getting looked at. You're not, making the most of your opportunity. And having someone like Mitch Malley or any other chiro or doctor out there that can provide this type of treatment is going to be beyond beneficial for any young athlete out there.
So I want to first give a shout out to your mom because
Yeah, shout out to mom.
67%, right?
Yeah.
67% of women make choices for their family on healthcare. And so for the moms out there listening, you may have a young daughter or son that are playing athletically and you're not sure when they get injured, where do I go? What do I do? And this is one of those moments. It changed his life. I mean, clearly they're 15 plus years into this relationship and he uses Dr. Mitch Malley like a super cape. Like he's an incredible, no capes. So we have to have some fun with it because at the end of the day, you have this moment to reflect on. If I get injured, I know where to go. And fear is a massive driver as an athlete. Fear. I remember when I spoke with Jerry Rice, he said, I run fast because I'm in fear. And he said, without chiropractic, I would have ended my career 8 to 10 years earlier. And so I really appreciate what you're saying. And having sciatica, for those of you that have suffered with this type of an injury, it is devastating because it stops you in your tracks and you wonder if you're going to rip something right off the bone, right? And it can be numbing to the extremity. So I'm glad that you found it, and I'm more pleased that you also understand and have really lived a life of a true athlete where it's about getting involved in your own healthcare. You are in charge. That's the one thing that I often reflect with the athletes that I've talked to is sometimes they did rely on their MDs and their DCs and their acupuncturists and massage therapists to kind of take control, but ultimately no one knows you better than you. I'd like you to explore a little bit about your own health and when you said, you ate right, you slept right, you did the right things that you knew to do, but tell me about your well-being in terms of the things that you learned along the journey since you had a pretty impressive career going from, you wanted to be an NFL, you went to the arena, then into the champion indoor football. I saw, some of the amazing athletic catches you did, the one-hand clutch, and, the walls are there, right? That's an added and very exciting moment because that wall could be the difference between you getting up or not. Tell me a little bit about your journey and what you've learned about your health over the years.
Most importantly, again, I play fearless, and I think that I'm able to do that because I know and I trust my body. I know that if I hit this wall 100 miles per hour, if I'm in pain, I know exactly what it is and I know exactly what needs to be corrected for the process of healing to begin properly. So just knowing that, again, I have him at my side 100% of the time whenever I need him for the most part, that if anything happens, I've learned so much from him that I can almost self-diagnose myself in a way. So when I go see him, hey, doc, this is where it's hurting. I know where it starts. Let's start the recovery process. And I just, it's almost like I'll be beating a dead horse saying that, but I think that's my only answer is that I just know my body to the point where I can I can elaborate more. I can feel and trust it more when I feel that I'm hurt or I feel that I'm like an injury's coming, like, oh, my hamstring's feeling a little sore. I know the steps to take without having to Google search or without having to go to the hospital or without having to get, cortisone or start rehab and physical therapy and all that. There's multiple steps that I've learned from him that start with chiropractic care, extremity care, that you can for the most part, eliminate having to do that. Thankfully, I have no major surgeries, no broken bones, anything like that. So I feel comfortable knowing that I can do that, and I have one of the most reasonable voices in the world that are adjusting, fixing, taking care of the well-being of patients daily to reassure me that, hey, you're one of the most fine-tuned guys that I have, and the way that you take care of your body is what produces the longevity in my career.
Sherry, can I add something to that
Please do.
eloquent speech? Well, Keyvan's mother reached out to 43-year patient friend of mine, Roger Craig, all-pro running back for the San Francisco 49ers. That was how he was initially became a patient. But I'm so proud of Keyvan because he understands that I've educated him that the pregame is as important as the post-game follow-up checkup. So in the 17 years that I've known him, and he's not missed a game in football career because he comes in for a pregame checkup to make sure his machine is perfectly ready to perform at 100%. And after the game, as soon after the game that he can come into the office, he returns right away for a post-game follow-up. That is the accolades of what most people should be aware of when they treat or ask a chiropractor to take care of their child in a sports-oriented environment is make sure they're ready for the sport, that their body is ready for peak performance, and then immediately afterwards, have a follow-up to make sure it maintains that high level.
Dr. Melly, that's one of the things that makes the chiropractic profession so special is it really is a whole being approach. That whole being, and I like to say it is 1 + 1 = 11. It like amplifies. And for our listeners right now, if you want to have some fun, you just Google some of the videos that our friend here has been in, and he's just a top athlete. Like the flexibility is amazing. Like he outperforms. You can see the flexibility. I mean, obviously he could have gone to long jumping in the Olympics, but I don't think you would have had anywhere near as much fun. Watch this athlete. I promise you, it's worth the time. Go find some YouTube videos because it's impressive. I would worry if you were my son because I could see the places you had to put your body. But you know what's so important for mothers that are listening is if you have a team and you have a chiropractor who's not looking at what pill we can give you to take away that symptom, you're looking at really the foundation of the body and all of the pieces that are in place, it puts someone like Keyvan in that place of excellence. And he can move without fear because he knows his body. He gets taught well. And that I think is one of the keys. But speaking of teaching, I want to give a special shout out to you as well, Keyvan, because you really do a service to the young men and women that are in your community to talk about leadership. And there's something very beautiful. And Dr. Mitch Malley does this as well. Being able to teach so that others can do better, have better, and be better. And I wanted to ask you a little about, if you wouldn't mind, talking about your Key Connect.
Okay, yeah. So during COVID when everyone had lots of ideas. I'm not going to go into specifics, but I had time to really reflect on what I want my legacy to be. Because at the end of the day, sports is that door is gonna close soon. So I wanted to have something that I can carry on with that still makes me feel a part of the game and connected to the game as well as the next generation. So I launched my brand Key Connect. So Key Connect stands for utilizing your own specialized key to create those connections down the line, pretty much. And what that means is everyone has a key. Dr. Malley's key is, I mean, global. It's instructing people, it's teaching people at the end of the day how to take care of the patients that are going to come into their business and help feed their families and help change the world. Okay. One of my keys is just being a leader. I use that to connect with the youth in the community. So everyone has their own specialized key, which is why I think my brand is so special because anybody can use it and they use that to connect with whoever it is in their community. And one of the main reasons why I started it is, well, two things. I'm not heavily into fashion, but I know what feels good on athletes' bodies. So I create merchandise. I do drops, every year to kind of relate to either friends or family or what's kind of trending. And then on top of that, I use my brand as a way into schools, community networks, social events, anything like that to kind of tell my story to relate to people in my community. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon. I didn't have the big house, the fancy cars, the nice shoes, the fancy clothes growing up. My mom had to work hard for everything that she had. And same for me when I finally got my own taste of earning my own money and creating my own lane and path and things of that nature. So I think that it relates, especially in my community, to there are a lot of kids that are growing up how I grew up, or even worse. And I look at where I've made it. I've had my shot at the NFL, could have chose the Olympics. I've worked a job that I wanted to do, so it didn't feel like working. I got in with Nike. I got in with Adidas. I'm surprised he didn't mention it, but I was in a movie, and I'm currently casting in a TV show. So I've done the things that I've set my eyes on as a kid, and I've done most of it out of networking from my own town. And some people think that it's always hard to do, and they have to move around and do stuff, which is fine. But I love connecting here to let kids know, hey, I was in your shoes at one point and look where I've gotten. I don't want to make it all about me, but I want to hear more from you. What are your goals? What are your aspirations? What are your story? How can I use my key to connect with you? And once I do that, and then you get to a certain level, you're using your key to connect with someone else. And the cycle keeps going and going. So there's the longevity that I wanted with my brand Key Connect. And I think I'm off to a pretty great start. And, I'm excited to see where it goes.
It's all about dreams, and your Key Connect really is. It's about the keys, and I love it. As soon as I read it, I was warmed internally knowing that our communities are better off because there's people like you. There's people like Dr. Malley that are willing to get out there, do the right thing for the right reason, and lift everybody up. In a world where chaos can be really rampant, it's always nice to know that there's people that are there to support and encourage, and you fought for your dream, and that's what I love. And I think for all of those that are listening that have never seen a chiropractor before, it's about finding your dream and finding the team. The dream is the first part, but then you have to find the team that surrounds you. And I think Dr. Mitch Malley and Keyvan, you make a fantastic team, and I can only hope to see more beautiful things. Congratulations with your movie and your commercial. It's very exciting to hear that. I look forward to just following your career, and also for all of you out there, this is ChiroThon. This is the way to celebrate, elevate, and encourage the world to know how to take care of their bodies in a drug-free way. So thank you both for being fabulous guests today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
We want to thank you all for watching this fantastic episode, but don't go away. If you're watching around the globe, please stay with us. There's so much more to come, and there's so much information and fun to have. So keep with us at ChiroThon 2024. We'll be right back with the next segment.